You've been moving in circles you no longer recognize, not because you're lost, but because you've been loving yourself in the old language of roles, not roots. You've tied your worth to what you do for others, how you fit into the story of someone else's life. The part so well, you forgot. Identity isn't something you repeat, it's something you grow. And growth, it's messy. It's the quiet rebellion of a seed splitting open underground. No applause, just the dark, the ache, the necessary breaking. Those goals you chased, some were yours. Others, echoes, borrowed scripts. You wore them like a costume, wondering why the joy never stuck. But here's the truth your soul is whispering. You don't need a role to belong to yourself. This last journey, it wasn't about finding, it was about unlearning. Scrubbing away the cycles that kept you small, the ones that said your value lives in how useful you are, how needed, how perfectly you perform. Now, the earth remembers. The roots remember. Every tender step you take toward what feels like you, even if you can't name it yet, is a revolution. Your identity isn't out there waiting to be found. It's in here, learning how to want. So let the old roles rot, compost for what comes next. That life you've been sculpting, the one with the crisp career path, the practical dreams, it wasn't carved by your hands. Someone else held the chisel. They called it salvation. You called it safety. You've been staring at a blueprint that was never yours. Music, travel, the salt-stung freedom of a ship's deck, real estate with a suitcase always packed. These aren't random cravings, they're old whispers, the ones you folded up and labeled not serious because someone convinced you joy couldn't be a compass. But here's what the firelight knows. You don't owe anyone the version of you they wanted to save. That career, the one that looks so good on paper, paper burns. And those wilder dreams, the ones that smell like pine resin and low tide and guitar strings, they don't fit because they're not cages, they're wings. You've been trying to inherit a life like a furnished apartment, but your soul? It's always been a wilderness, a terrain no one else gets to map. Release the script. The real journey begins where their expectations end. Stop waiting for permission slips from the universe. The opportunities aren't coming, they're here. You just haven't named them yet. This isn't about becoming Julius or anyone else's idea of a hero. It's about finally recognizing. And your voice? That's the chisel. You've been manifesting in whispers, half believing. But the universe is a mirror. It only reflects conviction. So say it, loud. Not just in journals or silent prayers, but in conversations, in declarations, in unapologetic demands. Your throat chakra isn't blocked, it's bored, tired of swallowing words that taste like maybe and someday. Speak your goals into the air like they're already real. That's not wishful thinking, it's activation. Say what you want, say what you are. Say it until the world rearranges itself to agree. The opportunities you're manifesting, they've been orbiting you this whole time. Now, call them home. You're learning life again. But this time, through clean eyes. Not the eyes of who you were, not the eyes of the wounds you carried, but the eyes of a soul touching earth for the first time. You've completed cycles you didn't even realize were yours to complete. Turns out, you've been hauling emotional cargo that belonged to someone else's journey. But now, you've set it down. You've completed cycles you didn't even realize were yours to complete. Turns out, you've been hauling emotional cargo that belonged to someone else's journey. But now, you've set it down. You're not unbreakable. You're unbound. And from here, every lesson lands like a leaf on water, rippling, then dissolving, leaving you lighter. You've been trying to sculpt yourself into a shape that others recognize. A face that fits their idea of hero. A voice that sounds like approval. But here's the truth no one told you. You don't need to change. You need to see. To see your own reflection without comparison. To trace the lines of your life. The ones you carved and the ones you let others carve. And decide, this stays, this goes. That urge to transform? Ask it, is this hunger or habit? Are you changing for you or for the audience you stopped needing years ago? Your voice isn't too quiet. It's just been speaking the wrong script. So rewrite it, not as the hero they expect, but as the soul you already are.